Hi, my name is Monica Mills. I did my project on soil restoration. Soil matters for a lot of different reasons. It's important to humans, especially because without healthy soil to grow crops, our food system collapses pretty quickly. It's also important to the ecosystem. Soil holds a lot of microflora and microfauna that are essential to the decomposition process. They also hold a lot of nutrients that are important to the food chain. And lastly, soil is a huge carbon sink, holding 9% more carbon than 1 acre of rainforest. So when we talk about carbon in the atmosphere becoming a problem, soil is doing a lot to help with that situation. There are practices that end up degrading soil. One of them is monocropping, which is planting the same crop year after year. This removes some of the nutrients from the soil that come from a diversity of plant life. Another one is overgrazing, which strips away the plants and the plant roots that are holding together the topsoil, and that leads to erosion, especially in arid or dry climates like the ones that we would see around the equator. Um, Pesticides and herbicides are another thing that will degrade soil. Um, it gets rid of beneficial life as well as some of those things that we consider harmful. Um, so it's killing off some of those plants and animals that we see in the soil that are really helpful. And lastly, tilling soil, which is overturning soil. This releases some of those key nutrients that we want to see remaining in soil, as well as kills off some of those important soil organisms. Luckily, there are some practices that help restore soil. Crop rotation and cover crops are one of them. Crop rotation is planting a different crop each season, so planting wheat 1 year and corn the next year. And then cover crops are a collection of seeds or crops that are intentionally picked to help restore soil. So you plant a cover crop on a field that needs restoration and let it rest for a year with these cover crops, and it helps bring some of those nutrients back. Another practice is no-till farming, so avoiding tilling up the land and instead planting directly into the soil. It's pretty self-evident you're not turning over the soil and you're not getting rid of nutrients. And then, of course, little things like livestock management and organic farming help in the long term. Livestock management, so deciding where your livestock is going to graze to avoid overgrazing. And then organic farming, getting rid of pesticides and herbicides and letting your soil do your work for you, really, what it comes down to. Alright, pros and cons. The main benefit of soil restoration is that you're protecting the soil for future generations. It also helps with long-term profit. A lot of studies have shown that healthier soil tends to give bigger yields. You are creating more nutrients, you're creating a better system for healthier plants, and then you get bigger yields out of that, which means more profit. So long-term profit comes from healthy soil. It also can lead to healthier livestock. Letting your livestock have a larger area and more diverse plants to graze from helps create a varied diet, which can help lead to healthier livestock. On the other hand, short-term profit does come from some of those degrading processes. The fastest way to make a profit in agriculture is to monocrop, because you get very, very good at the crop that you are raising, and then to use pesticides and herbicides to eliminate any weeds or bugs or disease, and then to turn over your soil with tilling so that you can plant in it faster. That is the equation for a great short-term profit. In the long run, you're not going to get as much out of your soil, but that is profitable. Another con to soil restoration is if you are choosing to raise your livestock in the more sustainable way, which would be to let them spread out and graze over larger areas. It's more labor to gather up livestock for harvest, and also there's a potential for loss from predators. You can't keep an eye on your herd or flock or whatever animal you're choosing from predators if they're spread out. So that's also another argument against avoiding overgrazing. The ethical type that I chose is Kantianism, which says that the motive behind your actions is what determines whether something is moral or not. And with that, you can argue both sides. A lot of the places where soil is degraded the most tends to be third world countries, where short-term profit may be a deciding factor. If you have a community to sustain or a family to feed, short-term profit matters a lot, and it may outweigh the benefits of soil restoration to have the money immediately. On the other side, I would argue that preserving the soil for future generations is the superior cause in this case. So that's my presentation. I hope you all liked it. I look forward to answering some of your questions in the discussion post. And just overall, I've had a great semester, and thanks for an awesome class, and I'll see you around.